Hello, everybody in live PD Nation, and welcome to a Friday. Yes, sir. A new live PD tonight on A&E Networks. I know I'll be there. I hope you will as well. We've got a wonderful guest today who I am so excited to talk to and more than excited to have you meet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Deputy Mark Pini of the Pasco County, Florida Sheriff's Department. Mark, how are you today?
I'm good today. How about you, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time. Please tell Kevin as well as your sheriff there that I really do appreciate them giving you the time to talk to us, especially on a busy day like you have today. Okay?
Will do, sir.
All right. Well, Mark, we're going to start out from the very, very beginning. All right. Now, everybody has a beginning. Okay. When was it the first time in your life that you thought about being in law enforcement?
I was prior military, so I just got home from Afghanistan.
Thank you for your
coming to an end.
Thank you for your service, Mark.
Well, I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I just needed a job where I could be on my feet, something that was gonna help the community out, and just something that was gonna be fun. Mm-hmm. And give me an adrenaline rush and something that wasn't behind a desk. And, that pointed me towards law enforcement.
Very good. What branch did you serve in, Mark?
I was in the Army.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you for your work, especially forward line in Afghanistan. That's tough stuff, Mark. We appreciate, as a nation, your sacrifice. Thank you very much for that.
I appreciate the support.
Yep, you're very welcome. Mark, tell us now, you are famous because you're part of a tag team. You have Yogi. Now, tell us a little bit. Now, we see Yogi from time to time on live PD. Tell us what Yogi's like off camera.
I always like explaining this to people because at home, he's just a normal dog. He's part of the family, mm-hmm. Even though we might be a dynamic duo on TV, but at home he's just a regular dog. He likes to lay around, play with toys, try and dig through the trash can, pick up scraps that my son drops at the dinner table. Just normal dog things.
That sounds like both of my dogs, actually. In fact, one of my dogs had to go to the vet today, which was the reason why I couldn't get you, at 1 o'clock. So I appreciate your patience with that. Dogs can,
no problem.
Sometimes they can make you crazy. So I appreciate that. Now, what kind of special training, Mark, did you have to go through to be a canine deputy? What did you have to do to prepare yourself?
Well, initially we go through a tryout process that usually involves a mediation walk, which is essentially tracking through the woods for a couple miles. We go through an endurance test, mm-hmm. And you get exposed to the bite suit to kind of, eliminate that fear, mm-hmm. of, coming into the canine world, because you're gonna have training events where you're getting in a bite suit and doing apprehension drills. So you go throughout the selection process. And after that, once you're selected, they want to make sure you have a good home fit for the dog, good home style. Mm-hmm. And then you go through a 4-month patrol school with your canine. So it's where you guys.
So it's you and the canine together then.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And that's pretty much where you forge your bond with the dog, and that's learning everything from tracking human odor to building searches to apprehension drills to obedience, and that's pretty much initially where you build that bond with the dog.
Okay, all right. Now, Mark, I'm assuming there are different kinds of canines. I've heard of cadaver canines, of course, narcotic canines. Yogi's narcotic, right?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Now, how long have you had Yogi, and how old is he?
Yogi is 4 years old. Mm-hmm. It's about 4.5. I've had him for 3 years.
Fantastic. Wow, fantastic. What made you, I've got a question here from one of our listeners here. What made you interested in the canine department of Pasco County, Mark?
Well, initially when I saw these these canine handlers, and I'm like, I looked at them and I'm like, that's a job I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're chasing after the bad guys, Sometimes there's that last chance of hope of seeking justice for the bad, catching the bad guy when they've ran off after committing a crime, or it's just it's a heartwarming feeling of finding that first missing child that ran away from home, or that 2-year-old that's wandered out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that comes with it, and just working with a dog just was very appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that friendship and bond I saw they had, and not only that, the canine unit itself, I saw the camaraderie in it. In law enforcement, we had that camaraderie and brotherhood and sisterhood, but in the canine unit specifically, I just saw how tight they were, and coming from a military background, that's just what I wanted.
Yeah, I can understand that. You came from that circumstance and going back into it for your private sector life. There's a match there, but it even goes deeper than that, doesn't it? Being a canine deputy, I mean, you live with the dog after work, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
24/7.
24/7. So, the dog has to be good with kids. So you got to make sure if you've got children, there's not going to be a problem there. You've got to make sure that the dog is going to, be good with the public, because I'm sure that you guys do school events and things like that. Are there times with Yogi that, you've had with him that you've been super proud of him, that, really stand out, because he seems like such a likable dog?
Yeah, you know what? Usually after a successful track where we locate somebody, every time I'm amazed on, how the dog works and how great the dog works. And it's just being able to read him so well on tracks, it amazes me. You never doubt your dog. Our trainer has this saying, it's called TYD, is trust your dogs. The dog's always right. And it's true. It always pans out to be true. You never second guess a dog.
Wow. Well, and he's done quite well, not only in narcotics, but also in tracking. Yogi's an expert tracker as well. Isn't that correct?
Yes, correct. And
So,
that's all done through our training. Our trainer is amazing. We have this joke that we call it a Johnny Rocks trained dog, because he trains them, and all our dogs are just phenomenal.
what additional training, Mark, do you go through? Now, the neat thing, I'm going to say, and I think I stand for Live PD Nation here in saying that Pasco Sheriff's Office, you guys are the best. I mean, the way you guys include everybody in your tweet-alongs, and the information you do, the 9 p.m. routine, all the things that you folks do to just get yourself out there and make sure that you're not only helping people at Pasco, but you're making a difference elsewhere too. You're working for a fantastic department there. What extra work do you have to do each year to maintain your bond and new skills with Yogi?
Well, every bi-weekly we do training with the dog. It's called maintenance training, and that we'll work on obedience or apprehension work or training tracks and whatnot, and that's all done through our trainers. And we have, some of the local cities come by and train with us, so it's good exposure to get all the dogs out together. And we do that bi-weekly, and we also have narcotics training throughout the month.
That's good. We're speaking on the phone here with Deputy Mark Pini from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office in Florida. I'm sure it's a little warmer there than it is here in Oregon. We had snow this morning, Mark. I doubt you had it there. But, if you could maybe, think warm thoughts for us, we'd sure appreciate that, okay? Because I have been told the calendar's changed to spring. I've been told that, but, snow this morning. Mark, now you're going to be on this weekend, right?
Correct.
You're going to
on
be like
tonight and tomorrow.
But tell us, I should say, Mark, what's it like? What's the difference in working on a night you're with Live PD versus a night that you're not?
Well, initially it was a little nerve-wracking. You got the nerves are coming through because it's a TV thing. But, everyone from Live PD is just so cool. They're awesome. So you kind of, you form that friendship with them. But it's just another normal night of work. You're just getting to see what we do behind the scenes.
Okay. You'll have the camera person in the front, you'll have the audio person and the producer on site, right?
Yeah, they usually follow through in another vehicle because we have the K9 in the back, so I usually have a cameraman that rides with me.
Okay. Okay. And basically, when something's going on that's pretty important, they'll shift over to you, and you're the one that has the 4 white boxes on the back of your vehicle for transmitting to A&E Studios, right?
Not me. Not my vehicle.
Oh, it's another one?
I believe that's, yes, correct.
Okay, gotcha. We had a question from one of the listeners just came through. Has Yogi ever hit on a narcotic find when off duty?
No, you see, it's more or less, it's a big game to them. So when we're searching vehicles and stuff like that, he's being instructed to do so. So he knows the game. He knows when it's time to play and when it's, off duty is off duty time.
Gotcha. Okay. I like the, I got to tell you, I wish I could do it with our dogs. I truly do, Mark. You give them like a rubber type toy or something for a reward and, tell them good boy, and all that. With my dogs, if I did that, they'd look at me and say, okay, where's the food? It's amazing that treat means so much to them. It really does. Do you ever, Mark, have you ever gotten bit before by one of the canines?
Yeah, it comes with the job. It's a price of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get nipped, whether it's training or just something that maybe you actually got in the way.
Okay.
These dogs get excited.
Yep, and I'm sure because of the heat of the moment, those things can happen. So, it does happen. Mark, what's been something that when you've been on live PD that you remember standing out? Is there a moment or an event that happened when you just said, man, I'm sure glad we got that on camera?
One moment I can remember specifically is Linda the pig, which was a little bit of attention. I know on live PD, the dog walking past a little pig.
Yeah.
And how an owner had lost their little pig. So that's something that I
Mm-hmm.
remember.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of the head.
Well, it's funny because 2 weeks ago it was a turkey in Nevada, and last week it was a pet rat. So, the whole gamut of animals are coming, and when we're hoping for your sake, there'll be no rattlesnakes. Okay, so that's what we're hoping for. Have you ever run across any deadly snakes while you're doing your job?
Most of the time we're moving too fast to notice. So
okay.
I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, no kidding, no joke. Mark, can you tell us what's been the most satisfying thing you've done in your career so far?
It's kind of hard to say, to really pinpoint it to one specific thing, but
talk about a few.
Coming out here every night. Just coming out here every night, and like I said, the successful tracks where you're finding people, that's the most rewarding thing that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with each and every track. They're all different, and they all serve a different purpose. Like I said, whether it's finding, a missing adult that's endangered or, locating a suspect who just committed a crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to pinpoint something that specifically stands out because they all have somewhat meaning to them and purpose.
Sounds like you've got a good heart for making sure you get the job done honorably. That's what it comes across as, Mark. Of
course.
It's a good quality, and thank you for that. We are on the phone here with Deputy Mark Pini of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office in Florida, and we are honored to have him today. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to type them on the screen. Now, if we've already been over that question, we won't ask it, so please don't take offense to it. But if you'd like to ask Mark a question, please fire them off, and I'll do my best to make sure and ask them, okay? Mark, what goals do you still have in your life? You're a young man. What goals, are you reaching for?
Well, currently I am in college and am about 6 classes away from my bachelor's degree.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Career-wise, I just like working a dog. You know, I love it. I don't ever see myself steering away from it. I like to be involved in the canine unit for a long time.
That's fantastic. You know, but Mark, that's cool. You got a good heart for that. And, you know, I think you have to have that type of heart that you love dogs and you just want to, you more than want to work with them. You want to live with them and love them too, you know? So true partners, I think it almost, would you consider being a canine deputy to be maybe even closer than having a human partner? Because you guys live together. I mean, you guys have got to be so close.
Oh, yeah, we definitely are. There's definitely a bond there. You know, I could be at work and I'm putting on my work pants and snapping my work belt together, and he's already at the front door jumping in circles because he knows it's work time. And, you know, it motivates me half the time.
That's great. We're with Mark Pini from Pasco County. Mark had a question here. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how spoiled is Yogi?
Ooh, after the whole live PD thing, I'd put it up there. He's pretty spoiled. I spoil him enough, but the fans definitely spoil him as well.
He's pretty popular, isn't he?
Yeah, he's making a little name for himself.
And so are you. You know what? You are as well. Don't forget that. How has the show changed has it changed your reputation, Mark, your visibility in your county because you're on the show? Do you get recognized more? Do you get more respect from maybe groups that maybe don't typically respect the police, say like like a gang or like people who are young that don't necessarily like the police? Has the show changed any of that for you?
I mean, it hasn't changed me personally. I'm going to go out and do the job the same way I did before the TV show. As far as, you know, having an effect on some of these criminals out here and stuff like that, they're still going to commit crimes, regardless if they recognize that we've been on a TV show or not. Mm-hmm. Criminals will always be criminals.
That's true.
And it's just kind of hard to explain, but he's just going to, Yogi's going to go out there and do the same job he did as well, you know?
Mm-hmm. Are there, another question from one of the listeners, Mark, and we're talking to Mark Pini from Pasco County, Florida here. We're honored to have him. Pasco County, you rock. Thank you for this. Are there any expenses that aren't covered by the department, Mark? Like maybe, you know, you get him some treats, something like that. I mean, you know, are they all covered and you have to have like expense reports made out for them? You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
I don't really handle anything that particularly involves funds for the canines. Whatnot, that kind of comes to our trainers and supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do know we have a canine association page where people make donations and whatnot for things that we do need.
Tell us what that is. Do you have that handy?
I don't have it handy, but if you Google or look on the Pasco Sheriff's Office website, there's a link for the Canine Association page.
Okay.
Also, I know on Facebook it's Pasco Canine Association.
Okay. If people would like to donate to that, now, Mark, let me tell you a little bit about what Pasco County maybe doesn't know, and that's what Live PD Nation has done recently here. There was a small county in Arkansas that lost one of their canines due to bone cancer. And Live PD Nation got together. I mean, the group, you're talking lots of people here. And I don't know exactly how many, but they raised over $3,000 for that county just to get a new canine. And then they have donated to Danny Brown from Richland County, South Carolina, quite a bit of money as well for his fundraiser for cancer. So, you know, that's
amazing.
That's what they do. So if Pasco County can maybe tag me on that site, I would really appreciate it, because I'd like to make sure we get a chance to donate if that's available. So Pasco, I know you're watching. If you have a chance to tag that for us, would you do that, please? Mark, question from one of the listeners. If you say we're retiring, okay, Now, I know you're far from that. You're a young man. You're younger than I am. Holy cow, man. You've almost got that you've got a GQ look about you. You do. You're a very good looking guy, okay? I'm bald here, all right? But, I mean, I shaved my head for cancer for Danny Brown. But even before that, I counted my hairs, okay? That's how little I have. But here's the question. If you were retiring someday, do you then keep the canine, or does the canine go to someone else?
No, we keep the canine, so they usually work about 7 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we retire the dogs, and they stay at home with us. They're, your personal dog.
Okay. All right. So someday down the road, when Mark Pini retires and he's still a canine, say, sergeant or captain or whatever you might be back, at that point, because you're going to get promoted. I mean, I know you are. But here's the deal. You're still with the dog and you go to retire. So that dog then is retired. Even if it's 4 years old, it would be retired with you, correct?
Correct. Unless, we've had scenarios where having a young dog, like 4 years old, it could be passed on to another handler.
Okay.
To continue to work, because it still has some life in the dog that could, still has a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Be beneficial to the county, sure. Well, and they're so expensive. I mean, those dogs, what people don't realize is, I know when we were helping Lonoke County, Arkansas, they were saying these dogs are like $15,000, to get them, and typically they come from Eastern Europe. So that leads to me my next question, Mark. How many German words do you know?
Well, my dog doesn't do any commands in German.
Okay.
So he's trying to do all English, so I don't know nothing.
That's good. Okay, because a lot of them do. A lot of them have to do that. So
yeah, there are a few.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is another question here? Is there a monetary limit on gifts given for the canine or deputy? Do you know anything about that?
I do not.
Okay.
But I don't believe it.
Okay. So if you want to go ahead and send Mark a $100 gift card to go to Outback Steakhouse, I'm sure he'd be fine with it. And then Yogi could get the bone. Okay? So it'd be fine. Mark, on a live PD night, give me a picture, all right? Because we see the picture from the camera angle, all right? You're going to a suspect with Yogi, okay? How far back do the cameras usually, do you want them to stay for their safety?
I can remember during a track that I did have on live PD, the cameraman he was pretty close to me, which is, I'm okay with that, because I know, and, worst case scenario, I know Yogi's there to protect me and protect whoever's with me.
Okay.
He kind of senses who's running with me. Most of the time when I'm deploying on a track, I usually have a cover deputy run with me, just as good exposure for the dog. He knows that, who's on his team and whatnot. So safety-wise, we have the dog there, and he's going to do his job when it comes time to do his job.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no dilemma or issue with that.
Okay. That's good. That's good. We're talking with Pasco County Deputy Mark Pini, and we're very honored to be here with him. Folks, if you have any questions for Mark, please go ahead and type them on the screen. Again, if we've already asked those questions, we won't ask them a second time. You can watch it on replay, but please know you can type a question out there. Mark, what are the most important parts of your life right now? This is kind of just that personal type of question. What really are your important things?
I have a 4-year-old son who's pretty much the same age as Yogi. So he's definitely the top tier. My son comes first before everything.
Congratulations.
Just providing a good life for him and trying to be a perfect role model for him.
Congratulations. That's cool. Has he seen Dad on TV yet?
He has.
And what is his reaction to that?
I'm not sure if he believed it at first, because it wasn't Paw Patrol.
That's funny. That's funny. So he got to see his dad on television, and I'm sure as a child that age, that's got to be a really proud moment, and a proud moment for you too, because he sees his dad doing something really special, and he sees Yogi, who obviously your son's close to as well, doing his work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What kind of things do you like doing in your free time, Mark? Besides probably go to the beach and enjoy the Florida weather that not many of us get.
Well, I definitely like enjoying the beautiful weather, so any chance that I can get outside, that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like working out, staying fit. I like going to the movies. It's just lots of things that you don't get to do, during the day, because usually when you're working night shift, you have your days that are free. So getting out in the sun is definitely a big thing. Getting out on the boat, being down here in Florida is definitely something to look forward to. Pretty much just staying active.
That's good. Do you do any snorkeling or water sport activities? I mean, you're right there on the Gulf.
Yeah, I don't really do any snorkeling. Kayaking, I like to kayak a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing when I get a chance, or just cruising on the boat with some friends.
That's good. Well, and you guys have a huge county in terms of population. You're about 500,000 people there. And, with being so close to Tampa and St. Petersburg, do you have quite a bit of crime from that area fleeing north? Or is that really not so much an issue for you folks?
We do, and especially in some of the upcoming areas like Wesley Chapel and stuff like that. I know some of these criminals are actually coming from St. Petersburg or Tampa to commit crimes in Pasco County and head back down south. So that's a trending thing that we see here.
Okay. Right now, we're on the phone, by the way, with Deputy Mark Pini from Pasco County, Florida. We're very grateful to have him here for a few more minutes. Mark, what is probably the crime that comes up the most that you see? I know you've got Yogi. He's a narcotic canine, but you do other things as well. What tends to be the most common problem you deal with?
I mean, as a canine deputy, we're responding to a lot of the hot calls. So a lot of residential burglaries or vehicle burglaries we're heading to. There's a lot of vehicle burglaries. That's why we have our 9 p.m. routine, lock your doors, because if you make sure your doors are locked, chances are you're not going to have your car broken into. So that's a big one.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that is quite common? Meaning in Pasco, do you see quite a few car break-ins?
Yeah, I mean, we do have quite a few.
Okay. And that's probably the reason why, folks, that we see so much of Pasco County doing their map. And if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to do so. Mark, have you ever seen how they do all that?
How they do
the map where people are locking up in their state or province?
I've seen on the Twitter feed how they do the 9 p.m. routine. They have different states check in.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
It's a fascinating thing, and the whole purpose of that, folks, is to lock especially your car, okay? Because people, if they see anything of value in a car, it's not hard to really break into it and get away fairly quickly. So what Pasco County is trying to do is to remind you to lock the doors not only in your car, but also in your house, because it's going to save you potentially from a crime. And it's incredible how many states check in every night. We have a lady here in Oregon, Brenda Serrano, who, I think Brenda, I swear, Mark, she's got to have it like on her cell phone, alert every day, get a hold of Pasco County. Get a hold of Pasco County, because it's a 9 p.m. routine. And here it's 6 o'clock, so it's still daylight. But, it's just a great reminder to everybody that I think makes Pasco special, because what you're doing is you're going outside of your county jurisdiction to help others. And I think that's what really helps to set Pasco County really, really apart. You're not only very transparent, but you guys also really try and help other people. And that leads me to this question. Mark, what kind of work do you guys do in the community for community service? I'm sure you visit schools with Yogi, things like that. Can you talk about that for a few moments?
Well, we usually have canine demonstrations where we'll go to schools or churches or stuff for the Boy Scouts and stuff like that, and we'll do canine demonstrations, kind of explain what the purpose of the dog is, what his job is, and depending on the type of crowd, if it's kids, we'll let them pet the dog, and just kind of explain and, put awareness out there.
Very good. That's very good. We had a question that popped up here a moment ago, and I'm going to ask. It was one of those ones you hedge on a little bit, but I thought, it won't hurt to ask the question because she's Canadian. Have you ever arrested a Canadian?
I don't know. That's a good question. I may have.
I think the thing that hits me a lot in Florida, and it used to happen a lot when Fort Walton used to be on the show a long time ago, was people who did not have identification with them. Do you run into quite a bit of that on your job, or is that not so common?
It happens. Mm-hmm. It happens when, some people don't have identification.
Mm-hmm.
So we have other ways of, identifying that person.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes people just don't want to give you their identification.
Mm-hmm. You guys have a tough life out there, and we, I think what I would like you, personally, what I would like you to come away from this interview with is to know that there are over 1 million people out there who are really behind you. You need to know that, okay? It's already been stated by people in Nielsen through Live PD and A&E Network that they've hit the 2 million people mark of watching that show. Now, that tells me that there's over 1 million people who are supporting you. So for every one of these people who treat you, poorly or disrespectful, please know you are supported and loved by a lot of people, okay?
Love it. Definitely appreciate the support. It
Yep.
goes a long way, especially in this career field.
Oh, man, we see some of it, and I put this Twitter page up for my brother who wanted to be a police officer but couldn't, and the whole deal was because, he just couldn't qualify for it. And I look at how sometimes people react to you, and it blows my mind. It's like the courtesy's gone, the respect isn't there. You must have called me sir 15 times here. I'm looking for my father in this room. So, it's just the politeness you have, and I appreciate that, Mark. That's a great quality. A couple more questions for you. Do you have time for a couple more?
Yes, sir.
Well, 16 times. Okay. You're a good guy, Mark. Okay. Now, in a few years, let's say it's about 10, we'll give you 10. You'll be sheriff. Okay. I want you to remember me. Okay. We'll be buddies. All right. We'll be buddies.
I've never heard of a sheriff working a dog. So
there's always a first time, my friend. Okay. Always a first time. All right. Mark, a question from one of our listeners here. Are the dogs all trained in-house or are they trained elsewhere?
They're all trained in-house.
Okay. So you have a program there at Pasco County that basically runs them through a series of essentially classes to help them learn how to do things the way that you want your canines to do, right?
Correct. Our trainers are very, very, very awesome at doing their job, and our dogs are very productive.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good at doing their job. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Do you know how many canines you have there at Pasco?
We're up there. We're in the 20s.
Wow.
We're up at 21.
Wow.
21 or 22 dogs. We have
wow.
Quite a few.
Well, let's say, for example, Mark, you want to go take your son to Disney World for let's say, the weekend, okay? You got somebody else on the force that watches the dog, or if a neighbor or somebody watches him, or how does that work?
Yeah, primarily, we can, our canine unit's a very tight-knit group,
mm-hmm.
so if that was the case, if I wanted to go to Disney World for the weekend, I would just ask one of the guys working on the opposite side of the schedule, hey, do you mind watching my dog?
Mm-hmm.
Prove it to the supervisors and whatnot, and we can do it that way. Also, we have a kennel that we go to.
Okay.
Where there's someone who provides care for the dog.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I really am. That's good, Mark. This is a question now that we've asked everyone we've been blessed to interview, and it comes from one of our listeners named Lieutenant Dan's Crazy Crew. Now, I'm very sorry it's not Mark's Crazy Crew, but understand, she's got her own allegiance there, but she loves you, and she told me she did, all right? The question is, Mark, if you could meet anyone in the world at all, who would it be?
Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock?
The Rock.
Can you smell? Holy cow, really? Really?
Yeah, he's just huge inspiration. He's just always, I feel like he hasn't forgot where he's came from, and he's just always being inspirational. I love it. From his workout videos to, to his fans, he's always recognizing them and giving them, like, the shout-outs. I don't know, I love his personality, type of character he is.
Well, he's down in South Florida, I got to tell you a funny story. My brother is a huge wrestling fan. I mean, this goes way back to when we were kids, and I tried desperately to get Dwayne Johnson to follow us on Twitter because I knew how much it'd mean to my brother before he went in for his liver cancer surgery. And, never got anything back from him. And I started thinking to myself, man, that poor guy, he must get thousands of tweets a day from people. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, you literally have to shut it off and filter it to the point that either your family or friends can contact you, and that's pretty much it. Because otherwise it would drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Just drive you crazy. But, I think there's a lot of people. Now, a question here. I checked carefully. I didn't see an active Twitter page for you. Now, are you off Twitter or are you back on it with a different name?
I am off. Just kind of one of those things I was instructed to do.
Okay. Gotcha.
I did like it. It was good. Me and Yogi had a good little following.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't have a Twitter. I just have an Instagram and Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay. I wondered, and the reason I did is because I saw an old Twitter thing. I tried to tag you in this for the interview, and I didn't find it, and that's why I wanted to ask you. I know, I will tell you this, Mark. There are thousands of people truly out there who would love to, follow you and be a part of that. So if you guys want to do that, Mark, what is your Instagram handle?
Is Mark_Pini.
Okay, and how about Facebook?
I think it's just my first and last name.
Mark Pini? Okay, and then there's no, numbers after it or anything?
Correct.
Okay, there you go. So you can still hang with Mark, see what's going on in his life, watch him with Yogi and all the fun that they do, and, keep in touch. I mean, that's cool. I mean, obviously you can tell Mark's a pretty accessible guy, as is the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, which is really a great, great, great office. Mark, tell me, how is the tweet along? You guys did one not long ago when the dogs were doing through some training exercises, and there was one specific picture where a dog was literally about 4 feet off the ground, mouth open, ready to bite an arm. The guy was wearing, of course, the dog bite suit. Was that Yogi? Or was that someone else? I got to ask.
That was not Canine Yogi. I believe that was Canine Thor.
Okay. What a picture. Holy cow.
Yes.
I mean, that picture right there, that looked like it was from a professional photographer. It was so well done. And I really did. I thought, I wonder if that's Yogi because, Yogi is so popular on Twitter. I mean, everybody seems to talk about Yogi. So, you've got a very special dog there. And Mark, the dog's personality too goes with you. Okay. So you're a big part of that dog's life. And because of your kindness and care and love for that dog, you're getting it back. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I think you're doing a good job is what I'm saying. I think that what you're doing is really special. So, I want to encourage you to keep going on that. Do you have anything that you would like to say to the people of Live PD Nation, Mark?
Yeah, just I want to thank you all for your support and supporting law enforcement. Like I said, it goes a long way. it's not every day that we're getting applauded for doing the job that we do, and every bit of support counts.
Deputy Mark Pini from Pasco County in Florida. Mark, I am more than honored and grateful to have you. I truly am, and I'm thankful you spent some time here. I want to give people just a last second to type something on the screen if they have a question for you. We have a few people here that are watching, and you're going to be on tonight with Yogi, so you will be on both tonight and tomorrow, right?
Correct.
Good. All right. Well, if anybody has a last second question for Mark, we can take your questions now. If you don't, then we will get Mark back on the beach. No, I'm kidding. I know you're not going to the beach. Mark, real quick, I've got one more question for you while they have a chance to think about this question and thing. When you're working on a live night, do you have to do anything unique, meaning different? Do you have to start earlier? Do you have to prepare differently for your night? What is there anything different?
Not normally. It's just getting used to having, some of the light hookups in the vehicle. But you get used to that after a while, and just, getting hooked up with the mic and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just another night at work.
Wow. And what time do you typically get off?
Typically, I get off at 5 in the morning.
Wow.
I work from 6 to 5.
Well, so see, there you go, Live PD Nation. By the time you've seen the show, it's already been replayed here in the Pacific, because, Mark, we don't see the show here live, actually, in the Pacific time zone. If you have cable, we see it recorded. So we see the live show at 9, which kind of is weird. But you're still working until 5 a.m., so I applaud you for that, man. I mean, what you're doing is really, really good. And I would imagine that's probably prime time for a lot of drug activity as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of things occur in the wee hours.
My mother used to always tell me, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Make sure you're home. And, I know she said that because the bar's closed, but things are so different now than they were when I grew up. So, that's one of those things. Had a quick question from somebody online, Mark. Do you have any other pets at home besides Yogi?
I do not.
Okay, so Yogi only. Okay, how do you think Yogi would do if you got, let's say, a cat?
I don't think he would mind. I don't think he's not really. He's pretty good when it comes to encountering different animals or, different dogs and cats, because, we see cats all the time during tracks and whatnot, and other dogs, and he's pretty pet friendly.
So does that ever throw him off? I mean, when you're tracking someone and all of a sudden a cat kind of goes into the field of vision for Yogi, does he pause and kind of look at the cat, or does he just stay right to his job?
He just stays right to his job. He doesn't really pay no mind to it. Like I said, game time is game time to him, and when he loves doing his job. So during a track, really nothing will really disrupt him from that.
Mark, that's fantastic. We're on the phone with Mark Pini from Pasco County, Florida. Mark, one final question here, and this one is a question. Basically, it's from my heart to you here. Mark, do you feel that that if you could do anything in law enforcement, that would be a goal for yourself? What would that goal be?
To continue doing what I'm doing. Work another dog. I'd like to work another dog. And just, stay in the canyon as long as possible. And to stay healthy.
Good. Well, you know what, buddy? I hope you do, because a lot of the work you do is fast-paced. And I'm sure Yogi goes pretty darn fast, and you've got to hold on to that leash as hard as you can sometimes. But you've got a good friend there, Mark. But again, what I don't want this interview to be, and I didn't ever want the interview to be, was to interview Yogi. Okay, I want to interview you because you have to do so much to be the handler. People don't realize that. The dogs are trained, but the handlers also are trained. And they have to go through training, and they also have to go through retraining and update training over and over and over again. Mark, in a typical year, how much extra education do you have to put in because you're a canine handler?
I mean, usually just the maintenance training, the bi-weekly maintenance training. This is what we do, and that's, I mean, training, though.
Okay, all right.
There's definitely a lot of upkeep work in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. See, so folks, when we talk about, and I know people love the canines on live PD, but you really need to know that the officers that are their handlers have to go through so much training to do this. Now, Mark, did you say it was 2 months that you initially had with Yogi?
It's 4 months.
4 months.
School and the narcotic school is 2 to 3.
All right, and you go through that together, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so someday when Yogi's retired, you get another canine, you'll have to do that all over again.
Yep.
See, folks, that's what we're talking about. That's why what Mark is doing, I think, is so important and gets missed, because he has to be so dedicated that if something were to happen, like his dog to be retired, he would need to start all over again, even though he knows what to do, because he needs to have that dog's loyalty and work with that dog and know how that dog works. He has to go back through training again. And this is what he digs. This is what he really digs. I mean, this is his life. And Mark, what a great thing that you're doing what you want to do. That, you know, a lot of people in this world, you know, have told us already in law enforcement, you don't get rich, but you get satisfaction. And Mark, I really pray for you that that's what your life is, because it sounds like you enjoy going to work.
I love my job. I thoroughly enjoy walking into work.
That's good.
Not a lot of people can say that.
And that's exactly my point right there. Right there. Mark Pini from Pasco County, Florida. It has been truly an honor to interview you, my friend. Thank you so much. I want you to know we are praying for you, and we'll continue to do so. And Mark, Yogi's important, but you are important too, all right? God bless you. Tell everybody there hello from me, and please thank them as well, okay?
Will do, sir. You have a good day.
Thank you. You as well, Mark. That was Mark Pini from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office in Pasco County, Florida. What a wonderful guy. Now, there you go. A man who's dedicated, a man who's willing to go the extra mile, a man who's willing to go through training and then bi-weekly training, a guy who has Yogi living with him and takes care of him and is there for him always. I think that man has so much honor in his life, just being who he is. So, folks, I really encourage you to look back on this interview, get his Instagram handle or his Facebook handle, and please give him a follow. He's one of the good ones, all right? Live PD Nation, thank you for watching. It's truly been an honor. Pasco County, thank you for the interview. God bless you.